Hello everyone. Welcome. Good morning to all who are joining today. And we welcome you all to AWS User Group Nashik. And this is our kickoff session. And we have Rohini from who is a senior developer advocate at AWS. Myself, Abhishek, and I work at Confab as backend engineer. I'm a AWS community builder, and along with me, I have Pushkar. Will introduce yourself. Pushkar, you are talking on mute.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I am Pushkar. I will be joining Accenture at the end of the month as an associate software engineer, and I am community builder too.
Okay, so first we'll talk about the group, and the reason behind starting the AWS user group Nashik is that we wanted to, people, professional students, whoever willing to learn cloud computing and getting started with AWS, to give them chance to network with multiple experts who are already part of AWS user group whole India community, and get them interact with multiple topic experts, and resolve their doubts, and enter to the community and contribute, educating everyone else who is just getting started. And this is also this community also focus on students and as well as professionals who are working to help each other and thrive as a community. So the reason behind starting this group is, earlier when we personally we used to get started with AWS, and we wanted to have some resources, have someone to explain us the some difficulties which we face, and the communities outside Nashik help us. Like we've been part of AWS user group Pune and Mumbai, so we wanted to have our own community so that people in and around Nashik would also get a chance to interact and be part of this awesome community. So that now we have our own user groups. Everyone is welcome, and we have some amazing plans, upcoming sessions. We are planning some fireside chats with experts. We have some series coming up for a particular topic. We have lined up events for each proficiency level from beginners to professionals, so that everyone can be part of community, and everyone should get chance to learn what they want to learn. And we have also a suggestions page as well, which we will provide in this YouTube chat after some time. And you can put your suggestions as well. What do you want, or what do you expect from us to cover in upcoming sessions, and we will do our best to provide all of you with that. So that without any further ado, I'll first of all would like to announce few things. For that, I'll share my screen, and we'll walk you through them, and then we'll get started with our session. So I'll share my screen. Yeah, I hope everyone can see my screen. And so we have AWS Community Day South Asia, bigger and better version than previous year, which is held upon 22nd and 23rd October. We have multiple tracks with expert sessions, as well as we have a reserved day for workshops, and the registration for the same are already open. You can see the website communityday.awsug.asia. All the details are there. Also, if you are someone who would like to speak at the event on any particular topic you are interested, there are CFPs open as well. So you can head to the site, and in the CFP section you can submit your talk or submit your papers. Other details will be updated shortly as the event proceed further. And you can get to know what all tracks are there, what all workshops will be there. And this is pretty much a very excited event if you have attended it previous years as well, and of course totally virtual. The next thing I would like to introduce is Reskill. So Reskill is a community-driven platform which is in association with AWS. In Reskill, we have learning resources to upskill developers, professionals to multiple topics. So there is a vast array of topics we have covered in Reskill. So there are some challenges on particular topics. If you go to challenges section, there are almost all topics covered, and all from industry experts. You can see all the challenges lined up. So each challenge has particular video. So once you go through that video, you can take quiz. There are some questions and some points associated with that, like as you can see on the screen. And actually these points are redeemable. Okay, so if you have earned some points there, you can claim it from the reward section. So you get to show off some cool badges here on your social media, which you can get after completing some sort of milestones. And as you can see, so there are a lot of vouchers are also there, uh, from range of 250 rupees to 5,000. So whatever points you will be having, you can claim it directly into the vouchers. And we have certification sections as well. If you are a certified developer or professional, you can add your certificates and claim your points as well. If you are a daily contributor to you write blogs and you educate other persons, so you can submit your blog here, and we will make sure that it is featured on our blog section on Reskill. And as you can see, there are a lot of blogs as well, so you can go here, and there are curated blogs. Also, there is one very important feature is there is you can connect with all the experts from India community, and we have some serverless heroes, data heroes from AWS, and a lot of community experts who have been there from long time. And you can directly connect with them, get in touch with them, ask your doubts, or if you have something, you can find all the India communities here as well. So do check it out. We'll provide the links in description, and you can definitely take a look at Reskill and empower your learning. The next thing is we have AWS UG Nashik site as well. If you want to know the details like uh, about the Nashik group, you can head here. You will see everything, from stories to previous events. We have some learnings as well. And if you want to know about who is handling groups, organizing, who are the volunteers, if you want to get in touch with us, you can go ahead to about section, and we have a pretty much good team and some volunteers as well. If you would like to also volunteer for our group, you are welcome. Get in touch with us with our social handles. We'll provide all the links in the YouTube section. And if you not found the groups in our site, also we have attached all the handles as well. So you can get in touch with us. You can, we can help you, certainly help you. So these are from announcements from my side. And now we'll bring Rohini to the screen. So hey, hi Rohini. So Rohini is a senior developer advocate at AWS, and she will be, talking about AWS for beginners and how you can get started your journey with AWS, and all of your questions also will certainly try to answer. And Rohini, why don't you introduce yourself, and we'll get started then.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abhishek and Pushkar. Hello, everyone. This is Saturday morning, just a day before our Independence Day here in India. So, happy Independence Day to everyone here. Feel free to add in your questions. I do want to keep it a little bit more interactive rather than just me speaking and making some people sleep on the session. So let's keep that interactivity going. And Pushkar and Abhishek, we all three are here to answer your questions if you have any. And so that's me. If you want to connect with me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, those are my handles. I also have GitHub, which I've recently started. I used to have an older one, but this one is new. So if you want, you can go check that out as well. So I'll introduce myself, and I do want to know a little bit more about yourself as well. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Rohini, obviously, that you've seen. I've been with AWS for last 7.5 plus years. You can see my journey. I'm just like most of you, born, brought up in Mumbai, studied BSc. I joined an IT services company. in 2009, and I took a big leap of faith and moved to South Africa for AWS. And from there, I did multiple roles in a couple of different countries, and then finally I moved to India. This is a new role for me. So, what does a developer advocate do? All this experience from last 6 years of working with AWS, and before that being an AWS customer, I did want to get that experience together and be able to help the wider community at large. And so that's what I do. I create content. I'm like an advocate for developers. So I create content that can help a lot of you. And I just want to share that knowledge that I have, and I can share it via sessions like these, or I haven't really dabbled into blogging yet, officially from AWS, but I would hopefully soon. And I do a lot of other things here and there, and hopefully I can answer some of your questions because I do talk to community a lot and answer some of the questions there as well. So that's about me. I do want to know, there are like 10, 15 people right now who are watching live, and we would hopefully have more jumping in. So just go to slido.com quickly and use 148, that is 14th August, as a and just answer this poll. And go ahead, Abhishek, Pushkar, you can also answer this poll for us. I'll just start the poll as well. There are just three questions, not much, just three questions. And this is my attempt to understand who's in the audience and be able to cater to your needs of why you are here and how I can help you. So hopefully I can see some numbers there. Just go to slido.com, enter the code 148, and I see there is a developer in the audience. Thank you for joining. Uh, and I'll wait for a few others to add in. I know it takes a little while for it to do it, so just gonna have some patience. Sorry. So I see two inputs. Anyone else needs a help, just go to slido.com and enter the code 148. Because if I move on to next, you won't be able to answer the first one. Yes, thank you. Slowly moving, but it is. Okay. Let me also go to the next question and see level of AWS usage. Have you used AWS? Have you not used AWS, or are you just exploring recently? Okay, so we have 50-50. Okay, cool. So we do have people who have just started or just been using for last. Okay, that's great. I can see a lot of people now giving answers. So let me see if I again can see the first one. If you want to again give answer to what role best describes you, if you have not given a response, this is your chance. Okay, so I see it moving now. For a minute. Thank you for that compliment, Karthik. Please do stay and ask any questions you have. Okay, so we are seeing a lot more inputs right now. Great. So we have eight, which is great. So I see data scientist, awesome. Architect, students, 25% students, and most are software engineers or developers. And most of you are new to AWS, it looks like, because do not use AWS, just started using from last 6 months, using more than 6 months, great. So I'll try to answer, have this session a little bit of mix of everything and be able to give you a little more insights into what's happening today. What are the things you can go and check out after this session? And I will be giving some links in the comments, the first comments after I'm done with the session. So I will give you some links that you can just easily get started with. Awesome. So a lot of you are new to the industry. So thank you. Welcome to the industry as well. That's great. I can see. I'll still keep the poll up so that I can see the poll there. But thank you everyone for joining. So that's me. What I'll try to do is cover a little bit of frequently asked questions I get from a lot of people. Well, most of you are from the IT industry, and I don't need to go a little deeper into what is cloud computing, but I will still try to answer it for people who have not experienced cloud computing or are still new to it, right? So I will be talking a little bit about that. And I frequently keep getting questions. Hey, I am a developer. Is cloud for me? Or I'm not a developer. Is cloud for me? I will try to answer both these questions, so stay tuned for that as well. how can you get started? What are the different places you can get started? How can you collaborate? How can you get more opportunities for you? We'll talk about these things as well. And of course, there's more on training, certifications, and hands on, and what can I do next, and a lot more questions that we will answer today. So the first is, what is cloud computing? Now, cloud computing by definition, and this definition it is from the older days when cloud formation was new and it was a buzzword, right? So let me tell you what cloud computing by definition means. There are few keywords that you have to understand when it comes to cloud computing, because this was important, because when cloud computing came, there were a lot of companies that already, I mean, there were some companies that already had bigger data centers and they were running the applications in the data centers and in the grid format. So how did cloud computing differentiate from that to what cloud is? Because clouds can be public, can be private, can be in hybrid mode. So there are different types of cloud as well. So in general, what cloud computing means is it's on demand. That is, I want it right now and I can get it. So let me give an example of on demand. For example, we all use electricity. I mean, I'm using lights right now, or I need to charge my phone. What do I do for that? I just plug in the charger into the socket and I press the button, and voila, there's electricity. And now I can access electricity. I can charge my phone. Do I have to maintain the electricity grid? No, I pay based on what my meter. Once you press that socket, there is a meter in your society or in your apartments which starts calculating, okay, how much electricity are they consuming? That's why our dads or moms keep harassing us, like, why have we kept the fan on? Or, they switch off the fan, they want to wake us up. So a lot of times, this is the reason, because the more you consume it, the more you're going to be charged. And that's the same thing that is going to happen with cloud computing. That's the easiest way I can explain it to my mother, that it's on demand. Like, I want it right now and I get access to it. Delivery of IT resources and applications. It's not electricity that we are getting. We're getting IT resources and applications. So IT resources is your computing, your networking, your storage, your databases, or stuff like that. Or cloud computing can also be about applications. These are softwares that are being deployed in cloud and they are available as an application to you. So it could be either via the internet. So I'm not going to anyone's data center physically. I'm not going any place physically. It's all accessible over the internet, because that's the new way, with pay as you go pricing. Like, you start the meter, you start paying for it. You stop the button, or you switch it off, you stop paying for it. That's the pay as you go pricing for us. So what is Amazon Web Services? So Amazon Web Services, like, it's web services, right? So Amazon provides you all these different kind of APIs that provide these IT resources and applications and software and managed services and everything as APIs to you. And it is a broad, it's a T. It's broad and it's deep as well. That helps customers who want to create beautiful applications and they need to host these applications somewhere. They need IT resources like compute and networking and databases, can use AWS to build sophisticated, scalable, like it can scale. Like, I need 1,000 machines today, I can get those today. If I don't need 1,000 machines, then if you need just one machine and you want to shut down all 1,000 machines, you can do that. You don't need to worry about what happens to those 999 machines that are running. So it's scalable in nature, it's virtually infinite, and it's secure. You can build secure applications as well. So when AWS started, and this is a quick history about AWS, right? It started in 2006. Initially, we only had like 4 regions across the world. Then we had 7 regions across the new 7 regions in the next 5 years. And in just last 4 to 5 years, you can see we have launched like 14 regions, right? And this should be 21. Sorry for that. But we have launched like 14 new regions, and we have already announced 6 more that are going to be upcoming. If you see in India, we already have Mumbai, okay, and if you see coming soon, that is the Hyderabad region that is coming soon for us. We have not given an exact date, it's still tentative, and it will be coming soon to our country as well. But that doesn't mean that you cannot use any other region. For example, you want to host something in Virginia, or you want to host something in Cape Town, or something in Ireland or London or Hong Kong. definitely feel free to go ahead and create resources. Like for example, you think that you are based in India, but your customers that you're building something for are in US. You can build applications for people in US just by sitting in India. You can just host it in some of the US regions and you can work with it. I'll give you some insights into that as well. So now that you've seen where we are across the world, you can see there is a little bracket and that has certain number. We'll see what that bracket means in the upcoming slide. So there is regions and there's availability zones. Now this is just for people who are new. I'm going to give you a quick insight into what does it mean by regions and availability zones, because you're going to listen to that all the time, right? So what is cloud made of? Multiple, many data centers. So let's consider that there are two or more data centers. Just for an example, it can be more than that, but two or more data centers form something called as an availability zone. So you can see two or more data centers form something called as an availability zone. And two or more availability zones, and it's a best practice that AWS will at least have 2 to 3 availability zones in region. So two or more availability zones form something called as region. Okay, so data centers form availability zones and multiple availability zones form multiple regions. And now why would you do that? If you are interested in giving certain certifications from AWS, like Solutions Architect Associate or Professional, always remember multi-AZ is the answer. Okay, you do multiple availability zones is because, for example, I host my application in two different availability zones. Okay, 50% of my virtual machines are here, 50% of my virtual machines are here. Let's say, and God forbid, but not, it's very rare, but if something happens to one of the availability zone from AWS, like in spite of that redundant power, like getting power supply from multiple vendors, getting internet from multiple vendors, doing all of that amazing work to build an availability zone, they still face some issue from AWS. Your application will continue running from that other 50%, right? And you can further scale into that availability zone as well to improve your performance. So that is how you're going to make your application highly available. So it's a best practice to think about failures and prepare for failures, make your application highly available so that in case of failure, application can still continue running and you don't have performance impact for your customers, like bad impact for your customer. So that's why you think of a region design, you think of multi-AZ whenever you can. So how do you decide which region to use, right? Like AWS has a lot of regions. Let me show you quickly in the console. Now, if I go to the AWS console, like I create an AWS account, log into it, and this is what it would generally look like. I've increased the font right now so that you can see it properly, but this is generally what it would look like. Now, if you see this small thing here, I think there's a logo coming here, but there is something like Ohio written. If I click on that, you can see the amount of regions AWS has. So I can select any region. For example, I want to host something in Mumbai. I can just select Mumbai and I will be able to create my resources in Mumbai region. If I want to create something in, let's say, the region I was in, Ohio, I can go ahead and create something in Ohio. And I can now click on any service. For example, forget about recently visited because if it's a new account, you won't be able to see that, right? So you could say EC2. EC2 is the virtual service that we have in the AWS cloud. So if I want to say that, I just click on EC2 and it will take me to all the virtual machines that I've created in the Ohio region. The same way if I move to, let's say, Mumbai, and you can see all my EC2 instances in the Mumbai region. Does that make it clear? If you still have questions, please feel free to add it in the chat. Hello. Okay, so how do you select this region? How do I determine which region I want? First thing is latency requirement, right? You need to be closer to where your end customers are going to be. Not necessarily you. You could be working remote, work from home, but where your end customers are. So determine latencies, and latencies not necessarily mean what you see on geographical map. So determine latencies, how to do it. There is a website. Let me see if I remember that website. Is it cloudping.info? Was that cloudping.info? I forgot the site of name of that site. Yes, that's the one. So This is a third-party website, not something that AWS has. See, it says it's affiliated, but it's third-party copyright of someone else. So what this one does, it sends a ping, HTTP ping from my browser. I'm based out of Mumbai, my browser, to AWS virtual machines in all these locations. They have hosted it, they manage everything. The moment I do HTTP ping, you can see it will start sending those pings, and it will also show you what kind of latency it has seen. May not be uh, like it may not be accurate completely, but it gives you a little bit of idea of what region can I choose based on latency. Okay, so you can see that Mumbai, I'll just try to zoom in a little. Mumbai is 9 milliseconds. So if I'm looking only at latency, I should hopefully, and my customers are based out of where I am, I should go and check out Mumbai in that case, right? The second is data residency laws. There are a lot of customers would be building applications that have data privacy things, right? Like I'm building a financial application, and according to our government, according to RBI, everything from finance perspective, you would want to select a region that is in India. So look at the data residency laws. This is important because I did see there were some students in the audience. So make sure you select the regions to practice that would be have lower cost for services compared to others. Now, as a tip, US East 1, that is North Virginia, is the most lowest cost region that we have. So if you're a student, you are just playing around, you're just learning, make sure you use that region and not the nearest region for you, because for you, if you're experimenting and playing and learning cloud, that would mean you're paying less for experimenting. And there is also availability of services. Sometimes new services are available in only certain uh, regions. Okay, so the website is, someone asked for the website, sorry, that is cloudping.info. I'll just keep that on the, awesome. So that's the website. And okay, you can see it in the chat as well. And in the end, you also want to disable regions. This is a new feature. So if you have been using AWS for a while, you may not know about this, or you may not heard about this, but you can also disable regions that you're not using. Sometimes it has happened that people go and create something in a region they're not normally looking at, and then they get surprise bills and they're like, oh, who did this? Why did it even be active? So you can go ahead and disable regions now. Now, to the main question. I am a developer. Is cloud for me? I am not a developer. Is cloud for me? The answer to both of these questions, yes, cloud is for everyone. Now, a lot of people do some mistakes on how they look at cloud for. They think that cloud is some kind of a product or some kind of language that they have to learn, and they are cloud efficient. I want to beat that, and I want to say, you know what? Cloud is for everyone. The reason is, okay, don't get scared if you're already overwhelmed about this image. It's just some text, it's just colorful text. Think of it like that. I will explain it to you why I'm saying that. Cloud is made up of, like, especially AWS Cloud. AWS Cloud has a lot of different services, has a lot of different products that cater to a lot of different domains and a lot of different uh, IT things that you would wanting to work with, right? For example, let's see how you migrate, how you talk about this. First is we talked about regions and availability zones, right? So we talked about AWS locations, the infrastructure across the world, how we talk, like the terminology. Okay, there is regions, there are availability zones. Points of presence I've not covered, that's fine. I'll tell you where to find information about it. Then a lot of people who are, for example, into DevOps or in operations or system administrators, they would want to focus on core services. Now, I suggest most of you should look at the core services, because core services is how we built AWS. So everything that you see in AWS that has been built is built on the core services. So if you're attempting any certification, if you want to learn AWS cloud, focus on the core services. Now, you would say core services as in what? What are you talking about? It's the virtual machines. Like, how do I create virtual machines in AWS? Like, you create Linux virtual machines, your Windows virtual machines, Mac operating systems on AWS. So you can create these virtual machines on the AWS cloud. Learn how to do that. What are these different parameters when we talk about Elastic Compute Cloud or EC2? What is this EC2? Play with it. learn about it. Then there is storage, there is basic networking. I know you don't, people, a lot of things like, why do I need to know networking? I feel networking and security is something very basic that you should at least know basically. I'm not saying you be a networking expert in that, but at least know your basic networking of how you can secure data in there in the cloud, how you can keep your information secure. Then you have databases, which also form of the core services. I mean, I'm not saying you become a DBA if you're not a DBA, but at least understand what kind of databases AWS has and how can you use these databases. For example, you're a full stack engineer, you want to work on everything, right? So try and understand what are the different options, where can I use what option. Security, we take security very seriously. It's our top priority. So look at security as well, like what are the basic controls you should have from security perspective. And then there's everything else, like from analytics to DevOps to mobile services to IoT, machine learning, enterprise applications if you're into that, hybrid infrastructure, etc., etc., etc. So that's why I said cloud is for everyone. If you are into data science, like I saw someone is a data scientist, you would be interested in our AIML services that we have that could help you with your journey into machine learning or into artificial intelligence into your field. If you're someone like a data engineer or you want to work on something like BI or analytics, we have services for that. So cloud is for everyone. So how do you get started when you have so many things, Rohini? Like, how do I even get started? What I give people as a tip is, first of all, figure out what is that you want to do. What is it that you like to do? Are you into development? Like someone select, oh, what role best describes you? I am a developer, I am a software engineer, I am a data scientist. Figure out what is it that is you. Don't say that I want to learn cloud just in general. Then it's a big ocean and you're gonna be lost. And trust me, you're gonna be lost. That happens very easily. You'll get overwhelmed and you'll lose it. Figure out what you want to do. You want to be into, for example, machine learning, or you want to do something like Kubernetes. Okay, let's take an example. You're into containers and you want to learn, hey, I know Kubernetes. Can I do that on AWS Cloud? Figure out how you will do Kubernetes on AWS Cloud. Keep it targeted. There are few tutorials, there are few workshops, there are a lot of hands on projects that you may be doing. Just try to see how you'll do it on AWS Cloud. That's the easiest way to start learning about AWS Cloud. If you keep listening to people, if you keep reading the documentation, you're just going to get lost. Try doing a lot of hands on. I will give you some links where you can find easy, simple material to get started and do some hands on practices, but do that as well. If you have any other tips, if you have started with AWS recently, please feel free to add that in the chat because it will help someone else and we'll also highlight it on the video as well. So go ahead and add those comments in the comment section. So how do I access cloud? There are multiple ways. One is the console that I showed you, right? So the AWS console, I can just go to AWS console and I could say, I want to launch new virtual machines. So I can say, I want to launch a virtual machine that has Amazon Linux 2 or Mac OS. And that's why I go to Ohio, because I do want to show you Mac OS that AWS has recently started supporting on the AWS platform, or Red Hat, or I don't know, SUSE Linux, Ubuntu, Microsoft Windows, whatever. So select any of those. I can then go and say that I want to create a virtual machine that has one vCPU, 1 GB memory, and if you don't know about this, just ignore that. Go to instance details. If I want one virtual machine, or do I want 10 virtual machine, or do I want 100,000, how many I want? You won't be able to. There are soft limits on your accounts. There are soft limits, there are hard limits. But let's say I want one virtual machine. Just keeping it simple. Everything is default for now. You will learn more about it as you go. Initially, just go with default and start working. Now, what I could also do here, and let me see if that works for me today in this demo. I can also give something like user data. Now, what is user data? Let me zoom in a little bit. I can, now this is a Linux, right? So I can run Linux scripts with inside it without actually logging to the virtual machine. So in this thing, what I'm doing is I'm just updating the packages on this virtual machine, and I'm asking it to install HTTPD and start it. Start the basic HTTPD on that virtual machine. Okay. and this is going to run the first time. So if you click on that I, it will tell you that it will run the first time you're creating this virtual machine. So what I mean is, if I've created this virtual machine, it will run. If I stop it and start it again, it will not run. Okay, so the first time you launch it, it will only run then. Then you can add storage. Right now it has 8 GB volume, but if I want more, I can just make it into 20 or 30 or 100 or whatever number you want. I'm just going to keep it simple. You can also say, do you want to encrypt, not encrypt, etc. Tagging is very important. A lot of people don't do tagging. Please do tagging. So you can say project, or you can say purpose. Uh, you can say what is the purpose, uh, how you can do that. So then you go for security group. Security group is, think of it as a set of firewall rules. Okay, so you may have worked with Linux, you may know IP tables. It's kind of similar to that. So I could say I want to create a new security group, or I want to use an existing one. Let's call this demo security group. Okay, and what I can say is, now what do I want to do with this security group? That I want to be able to SSH into this virtual machine from anywhere. Is that a best practice? Can someone who's been using AWS tell in the chat, is it a best practice to be able to access SSH on port 22 from anywhere in the world? Tell me about it. Can you, is this a best practice? Yes or no? That's it. Just yes or no. Is this a best practice if you have used AWS Cloud before? And meanwhile, I'm just going to go and add like HTTP port 80 from anywhere. No, great. Thanks for that answer, Tanvi. This is not a best practice. You should ideally be doing my IP so that only I can access this. Yes, no, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for the answers. So, no, you shouldn't be doing anywhere for port 20 from anywhere. So, you should just keep it from my IP address, and it automatically picks up your IP address, uh, and it will only take that. Sorry, just wanted to hide that. And that's it. Now I'll do is, I'll say review and launch. Not in my wildest dreams. No, 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 don't do that. Okay, so I've already created a key pair. Now what it is it would have been easy, right? We could have just said, this is a password, just go and log into that virtual machine. But can you imagine how it's not a safe method for us to share some passwords for these virtual machines without authenticating who are you, and are you the one who are accessing this virtual machine? So what we do is, there is a key pair mechanism where you can either create a new key pair, or you can proceed without key pair. The best option is proceed without key pair. Okay, best is that use it in the console. But a lot of people, this is new, so they may be using existing key pair. So I'll just click that. I already have a key pair, so I'm just going to say launch instance. Okay, and this should go ahead and start that EC2 instance. Now it is going to take a couple of minutes for it to do that. You can see it's already in pending mode. So while that is happening, I will show you what is happening. So you can select it. You can find a lot more information here. I know I'm running out of time. Based on security and networking and so on and so forth, you can find a lot of information. Did I start this instance with public IP? I did. Okay. So sometimes I do that. I started in a private subnet, and then I realize I've not given it any public IP address. So for an instance or a virtual machine, is what we call an instance, a virtual machine to be accessible over the internet directly, it should have a public IP, and it should be in a subnet that supports it to be public in nature. So it should have internet gateway in the backend. So what I have done is, I've created this, and it will take a while for it to update and install. So let's come back to it in a minute or so. So how do you access AWS? The console that we saw right now. If you're new, just go ahead and start using the console, because that is the easiest way. We look at GUI, you have guided wizards to take you from one place to another. Use the console. If you are someone who likes commands, go ahead and use command line tools as well. If you are into IDEs like Visual Studio Code or into Eclipse and stuff like that, feel free to use your IDEs. They come with AWS Web Toolkits, so feel free to use that. If you are a developer, okay, only then, if you are a developer, or if you are someone who wants to use AWS in their application, feel free to use the SDKs that AWS provides. And there are a lot of languages that we support. So you can use the APIs. You can call the AWS APIs from your own application. And that's where you use the SDKs. But otherwise, if you are into just managing and creating stuff on AWS, the other three options are good enough. And infrastructure as code. Now, this is something that cloud has given rise to a lot of different infrastructure as code tools and available. Like even from AWS, there are a lot of new tools from CDK, and serverless has its own gamut of tools as well. There's cloud formation and blah blah blah. So there's lots and lots of tools out there. Select which one you would want to. There are some. I'm hoping Abhishek and Pushkar will be doing more sessions, so do subscribe. And there are a lot of other videos there out there as well on our user group channels as well. Go ahead and check these out. Do join these different sessions because they will be able to dive deep into these with you. So I did show you the AWS console. We'll look at the thing. Okay, just pray for me. I'm not done anything stupid. And I'm just going to open this public. Okay, so public and private. Private is that instances can talk to each other, and there's a public IP address. Obviously, this will not open directly because it's going to HTTPS, and I don't have an SSL certificate. And that's it. Ta-da! So did you see? I didn't even log into that virtual machine, did I? Did I like SSH into that virtual machine? I did nothing. I gave the commands in the user data. It ran those automatically. You can see how it ran it. Like I can select this, go to actions, monitor and troubleshoot, and go to system log. Okay. The moment you click on system log, you can see what the machine was doing internally. Let me just see if I can scroll up. See, it has installed all these things, right? I said yum update. It automatically went and installed all those things based on the commands I gave. So that is how you can automate. Sometimes you don't need to, like it's a best practice. Don't do stuff to your production machines. You shouldn't even be able to access your production machines. You should bundle them up. So once I've done this, I see that okay, everything looks great here. Now what I want to do is I want to create, now I used Amazon Linux. When we start with a blank slate, I have, for example, deployed my application, installed stuff. Now I want to make sure I start from here. Like any new virtual machines I create should have this basic configuration to start with. All you have to do is select that virtual machine, go here, and actually, where is that? Where is that? Okay, even I'm lost already. Now, image and template, right? And you click on create image. It's okay if you're lost. You just need to keep searching, right? And you can then say, I want to start with HTTPD and app is HTTPD. Sorry, that was double T. And you could say app installed here, whatever. Give better names. But and do some tagging and then I think it's this side, so you could say just create image. And what this will do, and it was already saying that, so I'm just clicking, it is going to create. Now this takes a while, but next time if I want to create new virtual machines, I can just create virtual machines from this Amazon machine image. If you don't understand Amazon machine image, if you worked previously when we had those fancy CDs and we used to take ISOs of CDs and just copy paste, and this is like an ISO of a virtual machine. So you consider it like an ISO of virtual machine. It's a snapshot of that virtual machine that you can start with, right? It takes a while, so I'm just going to skip that. So a lot of compute options. How do you differentiate from these different compute options on AWS? One we saw was virtual machines, right? If you're using virtual machines, you get the most control. You can install whatever you want as long as it's not illegal, right? But you can install whatever you want from whichever application you're interested in. You can select the different operating systems, go crazy. So you get a lot of control on how you want to create stuff on the AWS cloud. If you go towards the right, that is towards the containers or towards serverless aspect, you get a lot of convenience. So a lot of times what we mean is that when you go to self-managed, when you go on EC2, you have a lot of control. But then you have to do a lot of stuff as well to make it up to a certain point. But when you go to the convenience side, AWS has done a lot of basic stuff already, and you don't have to worry about these things. Then there is a lot of convenience you have to think. So there are different compute options. If you hear someone talking about serverless, then they are talking about somewhere Lambda is one of the compute options in serverless. Serverless is a bigger framework, for example, but they're talking about hosting stuff on something like Lambda. But if they're talking about virtual machines, they're talking about EC2. And then container management, we have ECS, which is AWS Orchestration Service, EKS, which is Elastic Kubernetes Services, which is managed Kubernetes from AWS as well. It's the same Kubernetes that you have downstream. We support everything that we have from Kubernetes environment, but thus that you can have managed as in, I'll explain what it means managed. But I've already explained AMI, so I'm just going to skip this for now. And this is the containers landscape. I already said there are two orchestrating services. You can either host those on EC2, the virtual machines have full control, or you can use a managed aspect, which is Fargate. Fargate is also towards serverless. So it is more towards convenience, and this is more about control. And we also have container registry. So you can host public and private container images on AWS. So go check that out. If you are interested in these two technologies, these are amazing workshops. So feel free to go check out these workshops, and they have beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So feel free to go and play with these aspects. Like I mentioned, serverless is a bigger framework. You have Lambda as one of the parameters for compute, but then serverless is bigger. Serverless has data stores and integration patterns, and it's very complex. Abhishek is a big serverless champ that we have, and he will be doing a lot of serverless activities on this UG channel. So hit that subscribe button if you have not already. So this is what I meant by managed, right? So this is an example for a databases. Okay, when you're hosting your own database on EC2, you will have to do all these activities. You will have to take care of everything from securing that virtual machine to building in best practices, creating backup, wondering about failover, even database activities, plus all of these. Now, if you do this once, it's okay. But if you have to keep doing it again and again and again and again, are you even getting paid for that? You're getting paid for being a good schema designer. You're getting paid for having good performant database. You're not getting paid for figuring out how do you do backup and recovery. Like you would know what kind of backup and recovery you want, but do you want to always keep doing those activities? If not, then you should look at something like fully managed, where AWS takes care of a lot of these repetitive, undifferentiated heavy lifting items from you, and you work on that things which you get paid for or which your company gets its revenue for, right? So focus on those things, and that's what we mean by fully managed and self-managed. So anything in AWS, if you think from an abstraction perspective, there'll be two things: either you do everything by yourself on EC2, or you can use the fully managed services from AWS. And if there's no fully managed service from AWS, of course you still have the option to go with a self-managed one. A lot of databases. I'm not going to dive deeper into these. I'll lose the audience. But a lot of databases for different purposes. We are in the world of microservices. So use purpose-built databases. Don't just use a relational database for everything and then blame that it's not working or your application is not performant. This is what I meant. Data is the new oil. So if you're into analytics, into your BI, into blockchain, I don't know what all, machine learning, AWS has a lot of different services that you can look at and they can help you. I'm just going to keep this for a second if you want to come back and see what you're interested into. And then, of course, there's this huge machine learning stack on the AWS platform. So do check that out. We have everything from base infrastructure requirements for machine learning to AI services. Like, for example, how many of you have heard about Alexa? Good, my Alexa is not is on mute right now, so she's not waking up. But a lot of these tools are built with that. So, for example, you can use Lex is what has been built. Alexa is being built using Lex. So you can build your own chatbots using these services. You can use recognition, which can add image and video analysis. And you can use a lot of these different tools from fraud detector to forecasting to personalize in your applications. What about security? Now, security is a shared responsibility. Let me quickly tell you what security is. I'm not diving deep. AWS is responsible for security of the cloud. So anything we manage from physical infrastructure to giving you EC2 instances and everything, we work on that security, right? So we will take care of that. You don't have to worry about it. If you are someone who's into security and want to know, like, how do I make sure AWS is doing this? There are a lot of regulators who regulate and keep a check on AWS. You can find those documents from AWS as well. You as a customer is responsible for security in the cloud. Now, while saying this, uh, thanks, Abhishek. Abhishek says he's tried making Alexa skills and it's fun. Definitely do check it out if you want to create chatbots and have fun with these different services. So what I was saying, sorry, I was saying you as a customer are responsible for security in the cloud. Now, many of you will be like, Rohini, are you saying that, you know, AWS is just raising their hands and saying, hey, you are responsible for security. You do it. What I mean here is you have the flexibility to choose what this security means for you. Now, in the audience, you could be a student who doesn't care about that much of security. Your data is not something that is PII data and it's just dummy data, and you don't worry about security. You just want to play and learn about cloud. It's okay, and feel free to not use these tools. But if you are someone who's for on the other end, it's an enterprise customer, it's a finance customer, and security is like the highest priority and it should be secure. All the things that you can think from security perspective should be enabled, then that customer can select to do so. We are not going to enforce that for anyone on the AWS platform, but you should at least know basic security principles from AWS if you are new to AWS cloud, because you are using AWS, which is something that is hosted by somewhere else. It's hosted somewhere else. So know security so that you can make sure you're taking the right decisions for yourself. So a lot of security related services as well, I've tried to categorize them into different sections, from identity access management to detection to infra protection and data protection and compliance, etc. What about cost? Now, I'll keep this short because I'm already on the time. But there are different ways how I did say on demand, like switch on the button, start paying, and then switch it off and stop paying. But if you want to commit to a certain capacity, you want to provision that capacity, you can get more discounts on the AWS platform, right? Now, this is something interesting for all of you. There is a free tier. So if you create a new AWS account, you get something called as a free tier with 12 months free. Not everything is free, so don't go creating those accounts thinking you will run your fancy application or website using AWS. Not everything is free. There are few items in few services that are free. So for example, 750 hours per month of that Linux virtual machine in T2 size is free. This is to encourage you to play around, check around, test around, but not everything is free. So don't make sure you set in some billing alerts or budget alerts in AWS. You're notified of what's happening. There are some items that are always free. For example, if you want to play with Lambda, 1 million free requests per month. So if you go beyond 1 billion, you will start paying for it. And there are a few trials as well of services that we want you to try and play around with. You should create a billing alarm. Okay, if you're new to AWS cloud and if you're not done, can people say yes or no? Have you created a billing alarm in your account? Yes or no? This is a very important step and many people miss it out because they get the surprise AWS bill and they don't know what happened. So please make sure you've set your billing alarm. Say yes or no. I'm not going to shame anyone for not doing it. And I'm hoping you are going to do it after this. It's okay. There's so many things to look at. If you've not done it now, please take a note and go ahead and create your billing alarms or budget alerts in your AWS cloud. Finally, if you're a student and you want a free account or you want a testing account, you want to play around with it, do check out AWS Educate. If you have, thank you, Ankit, for setting billing alarms. Please do keep doing that. And if you're blogging about it, if you're writing about it, please do that and tag me on LinkedIn, Twitter. I'll be happy to share this information to everyone else as well that they should do this best practice. If you're a student, just go to AWS Educate and sign up your account using your institute email ID. Okay, if you can. And so few services are free, so you can play around and check that out as well. I'm going to skip this. Why do customers select this? I'm going to skip a lot of slides. Just bear with me. How do I get started? I've already talked about a lot of things, but I'll still try and give you a summary. Please start with some kind of project. Don't just start reading. It's a vast ocean. You're going to get lost. Pick a project, start doing it. Practice, practice, practice. That helps. Next is learn your foundational skills because this is how generally, typically customers learn about AWS, and this is how you're going to learn about AWS. Get your hands dirty with the foundational services. Migrate you may have your own portfolio website. You may have some projects that you've been doing with like by yourself. You've been creating a college project or something. See if you can migrate that to AWS. How do you do that onto the AWS platform? Learn about it. Once you do that, then you go into the advanced stuff. Oh, how can I do this with serverless? Or how can I use a service from AWS like DynamoDB? How can I convert my database into something else? Learn about these things, modernize your applications, and keep reinventing. And that's how you're going to learn about AWS Cloud. Don't force yourself directly for modernization or reinvention and then say, oh, this is too complex for me to understand. Start simple, silly. So that's it. I will be pushing all these links. So don't worry. I will give you all these links in the first comment on the videos. So do check them out after the video has been published. There are a lot of hands-on tutorials, lot of tutorials projects. Some of them even mention that they are part of the free tier. So you can go ahead and play with them if you are new. Uh, just getting started slash hands-on slash tutorial slash projects. They are divided into different categories as well if you are interested. Like if you're new, 100, 200, 300. 100 is for beginner, intermediate, and little advanced, what content type it is. So check that out. There is a development center. There are a lot of samples, lots and lots of samples that AWS provides. You can pick from them if you want. These I think this is a third party. I'm not sure. But you can find some workshops there as well. Do check those out. I will give you links, so don't worry about these. If you have not been part of our user groups, and I know Nashik is missing here, I have to update my slides after this session. But do sign up for our user groups. There is a YouTube channel, and I'm sure you're hopefully accessing this from this. Or if you're accessing from Nashik, do also subscribe to our YouTube channel because people across like all these user groups do also post to the India user group. So feel free to join that as well. You will get notifications. You learn more and more from the community. Um, Abhishek already talked about Reskill. If you want a full in-depth session, like you want lots of demos and go deeper into all the analytics, machine learning, blah, 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 full session, like a 1.5 hour, 2 hour session, is available on Reskill. Go ahead, check it out. I don't know if you still have the challenge active there, but you will learn a lot from our Reskill platform. It is a huge community, and there's lots of things to learn and lots of things to contribute. If you have been blogging, go ahead, sign up for Reskill, add in your blogs. You will also start getting a lot of viewers from there. It's I don't know if I can say it publicly, but thousands of people there on the Reskill platform. And I'm doing a Twitch show from 23rd August. This is a show where I am going to be building a simple web application. I'm be showing from creation of a new AWS account to creating a web application on AWS with all the best practices in 6 episodes. So please do check out this Twitch show as well. There are a lot of other ramp up guides, etc. There are learning paths. Uh, there are certifications. Now, just wait a minute if you're still here. If you want to start with certifications, start with your associate. Okay. Learn for foundation practitioner, but I would suggest because you're paying for exams, start with associate. There is a get certified challenge. So go to your browser, search for AWS get certified. Sorry, my spelling is bad. Solutions architect. It's okay, it will be autocorrect. Just search for this. You will find the certificate challenge. It takes 10 seconds for you to join the challenge, and you will get 50% off on the exam. So you're also be eligible for 50% discount voucher for this exam. If you have not yet done this, please go ahead and do that. So go ahead and check this out. And there is a Twitch show called as AWS Power Hour Architecting. If you are on Twitch, Please do check that out. I will be doing the last I am a guest on the last episode for this Power Hour Architecting, and they have been doing some amazing stuff. They have been, you know, they've been answering a lot of practice questions. They've been answering how do you get to the certification. So do check this out. Hopefully, this is helpful for you. Let me know in the chat if this is helpful, and if you want the links to it, and if you want to know more, let me know what you want to do with it. Finally, Abhishek talked about it. Community day. If you want to speak, please do join. If you want to just listen others from your community, please do join. We have a huge community in AWS of AWS in India, all over India. Please do join us, and it's a great way. It's what is in it for you? Why am I asking you to join? It's a good networking place. If you're searching for a job, if you're searching for partners to do projects, if you want to learn about AWS, this is the place to come, collaborate, share, talk. Your communities, your user groups are the place for you to come and do this as well. Uh, I'll take more questions after this. But this is my last slide. Okay, I'm not doing any more slides after this. All questions for you, so feel free to start chatting in. How do you break the cloud ceiling? A lot of people want to know how do they want to get started and how do they want to be successful in cloud. First is know your basics. Know what is cloud, what are these different terminals, what is regions, what is availability zones, what is instances, what is the different database stuff, what is multi-AZ. Know few of these terminologies, which makes it easy. If you don't know anything, come on, just go ahead and search it. No one has to know everything. Come on, 7.5 years, I'm still learning every day. So it's a huge thing. Don't get overwhelmed. Start with the basics and you will learn. Know your area of tech. Know what you like. Kubernetes, machine learning. What do you like? What do you want to specialize in? And then add the cloud as a feather. Don't just do, oh, I know all the clouds, because it's not going to go anywhere. It's just a product in the end. Have your own specialty. Know what you want to be known for, and then add cloud as a flavor, as a tadka, as a masala to your entire recipe, not just one thing as cloud. Do lots of practice. Practice, practice, practice. Theory is not going to take you anywhere. It's not going to stick here. You'll read, but you won't be hired, because this is how people get hired. Join hackathons, workshops, internship, mentorship. There's lots of free stuff happening. You just need to know where it is happening. Follow me. I keep sharing a lot of things. Follow your user groups. They will be sharing this. Come and join us for community days. There are workshops there. There are mentorship programs with user groups and communities. Join those. Most of them are free so that we all can learn together and grow together. If you have not yet started doing this, this is very important. We are in a world where everything is virtual. We all are working from our tiny little homes. I mean, at least from Mumbai, it's tiny little homes. So make sure you are sharing. You would say, I think, Rohini, I'm so new to cloud. I don't know anything. How will anyone learn? Think of this. I was new to cloud someday. After me, after 10 15 years, 10 12 years of working with cloud, there is still someone else who's new to cloud, right? There will always be someone who will learn from your experience. Start blogging, start logging, write your own code, push it to GitHub. Doesn't have to be 100% correct. It just needs to show your portfolio that you know these things. Because this is the thing, right? People say, I don't have experience, so no one is hiring me. And I can't get experience without someone hiring me. So, how do you show this experience on your resume? This is how you show your experience. You work on projects on your own, you write your blogs, you write your LinkedIn posts. This is how you're going to show that you have experience. Experience doesn't necessarily always have to mean that you've worked in a company that gives you those opportunities. If your company is not doing it, do it on the side and then show it that I've done this on my own. I've learned this on my own. Networking, please. I know it's difficult. I have been an introvert in my life. Please do network, talk to people, ask for help. If someone doesn't respond, like I'm busy, I'm not responding, go knock on another door. Unless you ask for help, no one's going to come and give everything to you on a silver platter. Join UG's communities. I've said that a lot. And training certifications. Yes, certifications help. Someone asked, what are the benefits for certified AWS developers? Come on, sorry. I'm just going to have this question. And I'll get Abhishek and Pushkar on the stream as well. Hello. Sorry, it's hiding you. I'm just going to hide this. But what are your thoughts? I'll just go back to question answers. What are your thoughts on certified AWS developers? I'll definitely answer this, but just want to check your thing.
Yeah. First of all, very, very, very great session. I'm amazed, especially the last slide, breaking the cloud ceiling. It was very amazing. Coming to the question, so I myself, 2 months back, I started preparing for certifications. But as I had an voucher for practitioner level exam, I studied all the basics like pricing, then global infrastructure of AWS. Um, it is very helpful, even though I have not done projects in all the services, but it is very great to know each and every services pricing related things, how AWS is working behind the scenes for us. It certainly helped me a lot. It certainly helped me to understand the things better, which I do daily in my job, in my side projects. So it certainly helps. And there are a lot of job opportunities I see day to day in LinkedIn and social platforms, that they ask for if developers has this kind of certification, so that they have the preference over another another developers or another joinees. So it is certainly a help to have a certification, and moreover, above the certification, you should have all the basics to know to yourself. And then certifications are of course a badge to um, make your talent publicly public to all the recruiters, all your friend circles and networking. So it's a very great to have, in my opinion.
Certification kind of provide the credibility. Means you know these things, but certification gives you the
Yes.
credibility. Yeah, this person knows these things.
Exactly. I mean, you could know things, but then it gives you a stamp of evaluation that, hey, I've been certified, this is an exam. It's like, you've studied for 10th and 12th, but then if you've not done an examination, do you have anything to show for that you've studied for 10th and 12th? It's the same principle. There are a lot of people who think that, okay, we will study for this certification, they'll book an exam, and then they'll work backwards, right? I like some of us who have been engineers, we don't study until the exam date is there, right? Same here. So use certifications for that if you want to get serious about giving exams and learning as well. If you have any other question, I'll definitely be happy to answer those questions. You both, Pushkar, Abhishek, do you think you have something to share with the entire team here? Feel free to do that, or else we'll wrap up this session.
Yeah, it's kind of like I have question. Like I'm not an expert or something. I'm just learning from the Abhishek and going through the attending the UG's event. So as a beginner, so means where from a start, means where to start. Like learn first this and then that. Like what should be the flow?
So, okay, so do this. So, Pushkar, what do you generally like to do? Are you a developer? What do you identify yourself as?
Yeah, generally I'm currently doing this most of the web development.
Web development. Great. So, are you looking at particular frameworks? Like, how did you select a framework that you would want to work with when you're doing web development?
Yeah, but I mean, if you are going for some projects, so I try to first feasibility of that frameworks. Means I want to build this, and how much that framework gonna support me to build that particular thing.
Exactly. So similarly, same principles apply at AWS when you're thinking about AWS. So what you could do is to start doing it simply is figure out you have a project, right? You have something that you've built of your own. Now you can ask Abhishek, Abhishek, I want to start doing this on AWS. How do I get started? Should I go hosting it on EC2 like how I've been doing it on a virtual machine somewhere else? Should I just start that? Go ahead, start doing that. If you think that no, I don't want to do this managed thing, I want to do self-managed thing. I want to use the fancy stuff. Is there anything in serverless I can look at? Then Abhishek can share, okay, this is where you start with, pick up one of the service, see how that service works, but pick a project that you want to deploy, because then uh, towards the end you will have something to show for, like, okay, I built this on the AWS cloud, and in that journey I learned so many things. There are a lot of tutorials, a lot of stuff available. You just need to search for it on the AWS platform. But the first thing is figure out what you want to do, pick a small project, and then you think about how do I get started with that project. And once you do that, right, how you search for your frameworks, how do you do your feasibility study. The same thing applies, the same principles to AWS Cloud. There is no magic bullet. There is no thing I can say that, you go to AWS Cloud and click this link and you'll start learning about AWS. Uh, that is not how it is going to fly. There's just so much of information everywhere else. So pick
Yeah,
one
that's
thing
what
and
happened when
learn
I
about it.
first time opened the AWS account. So okay, where should I click and where should I go now?
So just search for AWS. Uh, what framework are you using right now? Like, how do I
React,
React?
React, or
Okay. So how
yeah,
give me a project or AWS sample React JS deployment, something like that, or React JS application, and you'll find so many sample codes and so many projects that you can pick and choose, and many of them have step-by-step guidelines as well, like go here, click here, do this, do that, and that will make it easy for you to start learning. If you just open that console, it can become a little overwhelming for a newbie. So pick a project and then search for it, like how can you do this on AWS, and you will get the answers. I mean, that's how it works. Hope that
thank you.
helps. Or
Yeah, yeah,
else just ping people, ping me, ping people in the community who know how to do this on the AWS platform. Of course, many of them will have their own blogs. Exactly. See, and someone actually gave James. Thank you for that. He already said I search for Amplify as a service. Amplify is one of the AWS products.
yeah,
It's open source. Yes. So see how you can do it with Amplify, and then you'll start learning about it slowly.
yeah.
After a while, we'll come to you and we'll see Pushkar will tell us how to get started for deploying React on AWS. And that's how communities learn, right? That's how we all are going to learn with, uh, like, learn together. Thanks, Jones, for that.
Yeah, that's how we started. Means going to someone's means like we are firstly we started going for the UG events in the Pune from Nasik to Pune. We travel. It's like event is on the
Wow.
8. Event is on 8 o'clock. We pick a bus at the 4 o'clock and go reach there on the time to for check in and check in and those things.
Wow.
And after some years we are after next year we volunteered over there and now we are running our own UG. So yeah.
Wow. Let's see where is everyone here joining in from. I still see a lot of people on the watching. So where have you all joined from? I'm from Mumbai. Where are you from, Abhishek?
I'm tuning in from Nashik, my hometown.
Nashik. So nice. And you too, I guess. So what's special about Nashik, man? What is it? I recently realized there is something, we have vada pav in Mumbai, and there's something called as pav vada in Nashik, right? Is that
So,
is that Nashik?
Misa is very famous. No, not Powder. It's Misa, and hands down, it's the best.
Misal. Yes, I like Misal. Ooh, there is someone from Bangalore. We have people from Nashik. Hello. And someone actually said this correctly, right? Sometimes some people are a little bit worried, even while using the free tier of AWS for their projects due to billing. And this is a very valid question. So that's why I said, like, first thing you do is set those billing alerts, set those budget alerts that you have. And there is something. One second. Let me just search it before I say that there is something like that. So, okay, let's move this here. And okay, now you should be able to see my screen. Sorry, I'm just sharing my screen for this question. Power is also something you will find around here. Yes, I actually saw this video and I was really amazed at how vada pav can become pav vada. And there was an entire YouTube video on this. Okay, so there
Interesting.
is yeah, there is an entire YouTube video of this thing. So I'll just try to answer this question from the chat and hopefully you can read it. Yeah, now it should be better. So how do you track your AWS free tier usage? So you should be using free tier usage alerts using AWS budgets. Okay, there is something like this. If before you do start using free tier, please hopefully have some budget alerts that will help you do it. So these free tier usage alerts allow AWS when you're exceeding 85% of your usage. So you can when it is almost 85%, it will tell you, it will send you a notification, hey, you're paying a lot, like, you're about to reach your 100% usage. Go ahead and switch off those instances you don't want. Like, for example, a lot of people, what they do mistakes is they create virtual machines, okay? And what we say is, when you stop virtual machine, you stop paying for it. Now, this is true, yes, but you see, when you launch a virtual machine, there are three components you're paying for, at least. Okay. One is compute, one is network, and the third is storage. So when you stop an EC2 instance, you will stop paying for compute, you will stop paying for network, but you still pay for storage. So if you have created a virtual machine with a storage volume of 100 GB and you're not using that virtual machine, you still pay for that 100 GB. Does that make sense? So don't create bigger volumes if you don't need them. You can always add more rather than deleting, right? You can add more storage, but so create stuff with minimal requirement that you have and keep adding as you go. Don't create bigger machines and then start wondering where that bill is coming from. So always start small and then keep adding. And think about pricing consciously, right? For example, receive alerts when you forecasted. So hopefully this answers your question, Shubham. Shubham has this question. This will also tell you how do you opt in or out of these free tier alerts. I'll just paste this in the chat. Free tier alerts. Do let us know, Shubham, if this answers your question, but you can definitely get alerts for your usage. So it will already start showing you your usage and blah, blah, blah. And you can get alerts for that. Yay, Pawada. Cool. So if we have no more questions, I think we are great. We are on time. Thank you. No worries. Thanks, Shubham, for asking that very relevant question.
Okay, I guess that's pretty much it. I don't see any much questions
No
apart
more
from that.
questions.
But by the way, a lot of very great slides was there, and what a great session I had, because I also didn't knew some things which I got to know in this session, and we have talked from all the way from getting started with AWS to the Mishra and Pavoda, which was great and interesting. So
Hopefully, I travel to Nashik someday soon after this thing gets over and have the
yes,
best
yes,
missile with
yes.
all of you in Nashik.
Yes, you are welcome, and we are waiting for that. And yeah, on that note, we'll wrap up. And before wrapping up, I'd like to convey everyone once again, be part of AWS User Group Nashik. You have all the links into the YouTube video. You will get we have planned very much amazing sessions going further. And if you want to know anything, or if you Rohini has shared a lot of resources to getting started. If you still have some questions, you can connect with us, with our team into Slack, or you can ping us directly. There are social handles available on the YouTube chat, as well as, and whatever preferable social media platform you want, we are on there to so that you can tune in there and get our updates.
Yes, there
Yes.
is a question by Yash. Yes, you should definitely
Yeah,
ask
let's
this.
take that.
You want to take this? Okay, go ahead. Being an AWS engineer, what kind of tasks do you handle on a daily schedule? I mean, without revealing stuff that you don't want to reveal,
No,
what do you
I guess
handle
that's
on your
for
daily schedule?
you.
That's me. I'm
Oh,
not an
okay,
AWS engineer, so
so for me, I work daily on AWS pretty much, but the task is not much, because we use AWS for managing something for us, right? So it's we just have to manage an application layer how we want to consume all those services efficiently, and keep track on the all these pricing related things, infrastructure related things, and that's it. But there is no such a rocket science in that. It is very interesting task. I like to use and interact with AWS management console daily. There isn't any day went by when I not open the console and tried something new. as you like to say, Rohini, in your talks, it's always day one. So it's great.
Always day one.
Yeah. Okay, then. Um, So, as I said, if you still have any questions, you can reach out to us through our social handles. And if you still need anything, you have some suggestions, we'll share a form in the description as well, and on our social media handles. You can put your suggestions that what session would you like to cover in upcoming sessions, and we'll try our best to get some expert on that. Yeah, and that's it. Then we'll wrap up. So bye bye everyone, and stay healthy and take care.
Thank you. Bye. It was nice chatting
Bye.
with all of you. Bye.